The night began like any other audition night on one of the world's biggest talent stages. The judges were in their chairs, the crowd was buzzing with curiosity, and the lights were set just right. Then, two teenagers slowly walked onto the stage. They held each other's hands tightly, trying to calm their nerves. The girl wore a simple white dress, and the boy wore a plain black suit, nothing flashy, nothing over the top. It was clear from the way they stood that they weren't there to impress with fashion or drama. They were there to sing. Simon Cowell leaned slightly forward in his chair. He's known for reading people even before they say a word. He gave them a small nod, almost as if to say, "Go on, show me what you've got." Heidi Klum smiled warmly. "How are you both feeling tonight?" The girl answered softly, "We're nervous but excited." The boy added with a shaky voice, "We've dreamed about this moment our whole lives." The crowd responded with encouraging applause, and a few people even shouted words of support. The girl looked at the boy, took a deep breath, and the lights dimmed slightly. The music track began to play, and the very first note sent a hush across the entire auditorium. It wasn't a loud or dramatic opening. It was soft, fragile, and pure. The girl's voice floated through the air like silk. Every word she sang carried emotion so raw it made people forget they were in a crowded theater. The boy joined in on the second line, and the harmony was nothing short of breathtaking. Their voices didn't just blend. They intertwined like two perfectly matched instruments created to sing together. People's faces changed instantly. The audience leaned forward. The judges exchanged looks. It was as if everyone felt the same thing at the same time. This was special. Simon's eyes narrowed. He wasn't just listening. He was analyzing every breath, every note, every subtle movement. And for one of the few times in his career, he couldn't find a single flaw. The chorus hit like a wave of light. Their voices soared higher and higher, and just when it felt like they'd reached the limit, they pushed even further. The power in their delivery didn't come from vocal tricks or screaming notes. It came from something much deeper, pure emotion. It felt like they were telling their life story through this one song. As they sang, you could see tears welling up in the eyes of people in the audience. One woman in the second row covered her mouth as if to stop herself from crying out loud. Even Heidi placed her hand on her chest. Howie Mandel leaned closer to the desk and whispered, "Wow." But it wasn't just the vocals that made this performance unforgettable. It was the way they looked at each other while singing. Their connection wasn't fake or rehearsed. It was real. They grew up together in a small province in the Philippines. Their families struggled financially, but their love for music became their escape. Every night, they would sing together outside their small home, dreaming that one day, someone would listen. That dream led them here, on the world's biggest stage. As the bridge of the song approached, the crowd held its breath. The girl took the lead with a note so pure and crystal clear that it felt like time itself had slowed down. And then, the boy came in with a powerful harmony that made the entire theater erupt in applause even before the song was over. Simon Cowell leaned back, shaking his head with an amazed smile, the kind of reaction he gives only when something truly unexpected happens. Then came the final chorus. They lifted their voices with everything they had. You could feel every ounce of their soul in that moment. It wasn't just singing. It was storytelling through music. When the last note echoed across the room, there was complete silence for half a second. And then, a wave of applause exploded through the theater. People jumped to their feet. It wasn't just a standing ovation. It was a roar of pure emotion. The girl covered her face, overwhelmed with tears. The boy grabbed her hand again. They were shaking, not from fear but from the realization that their lives had just changed forever. Simon slowly stood up. He clapped his hands slowly at first, then harder and faster. Heidi was already wiping away tears. Sofia Vergara was smiling from ear to ear. Howie was the first to shout, "That was incredible." Simon picked up his microphone. His voice was calm but filled with something rare, genuine admiration. "That," he said, "was one of the most beautiful duets one have ever heard in my entire life. You didn't just sing a song. You created a moment that no one in this room will ever forget." The girl's tears fell freely as she whispered, "Thank you." The boy was speechless. Heidi added, "I felt like I was watching something divine. Your voices were made for each other. This was perfection." Sophia nodded and said, "This is why we love this show." Talent like yours reminds us why dreams matter." The crowd erupted again, chanting their names, and the energy was something you could feel even through the TV screen. Simon then leaned closer and said something that made the entire place scream. "You know what?" he said, "I don't think I need to say anything else." And then, with a single powerful gesture, he slammed his hand down on the golden buzzer. Confetti rained down from above. Golden light filled the stage. The two young singers fell to their knees, crying and laughing at the same time. This was the moment they had dreamed of for so long, and it was finally happening. Simon walked up to the stage, something he doesn't always do, and he hugged them both. He whispered something into the boys' ear, and though no microphone caught the words, you could see from their faces that it was something they would never forget. The hosts rushed onto the stage, hugging them, lifting their hands in victory. The entire theater was on its feet. People were crying, smiling, clapping, and cheering. It wasn't just another golden buzzer moment. It was a golden moment in the history of talent shows. Backstage, the cameras followed them as they tried to process everything. The girl said, "We've been singing together since we were little. We never thought we'd be here." The boy added, "We just wanted to make our families proud." And they did more than that. They made an entire nation proud. In the Philippines, videos of their performance spread like wildfire. Within hours, social media platforms were flooded with clips of their golden buzzer moment. People from all around the world began sharing their story. Musicians, celebrities, and fans praised their talent. One famous artist even tweeted, "That duet is one of the most moving performances I've ever seen." Thousands of people commented about how their voices touched their souls, how their bond reminded them of the beauty of human connection, and how music truly has no borders. But this moment didn't just belong to them. It belonged to everyone who's ever dreamed of something bigger. Everyone who's ever sung into the night, hoping someone would hear. Everyone who's ever believed that talent can come from anywhere, even from a small town in the Philippines. Simon Cowell later said in an interview, "I've heard thousands of singers, but there was something magical about the way they sang together. It wasn't just skill, it was emotion, it was honesty, it was pure." As the competition went on, their performance continued to trend across platforms. People who had never watched the show before started tuning in just to see them. Their voices reached millions, and for those who were lucky enough to witness it live, they said it felt like being part of something bigger than themselves. Their families back home watched the golden buzzer moment on a small television, tears streaming down their faces. For them, this wasn't just a performance. It was proof that dreams can come true, even for kids who once sang barefoot on dusty roads. The power of that performance reminded everyone why talent shows still matter. It's not just about the competition. It's about real people, real dreams, and the magic that happens when talent and passion collide. Weeks after that moment, they would return to the stage for the live shows. But no matter what happened next, that golden buzzer moment had already written their names in the hearts of millions. Simon Cowell couldn't believe what he heard that night. But he wasn't alone. No one could. And that's the beauty of it. Music has the power to break barriers, to connect hearts, and to remind us of what truly matters. This Filipino duet didn't just sing. They made the world stop and feel. So if you're sitting at home with a dream that feels too far away, remember them. Remember how two kids from the Philippines turned a single song into a worldwide phenomenon. Remember that sometimes, one voice, or in this case, two, can change everything. Their story is still being written. But their moment, that one golden buzzer night, will live forever. If you felt chills listening to their journey today, make sure to subscribe and stay with us for more powerful moments from around the world. Because somewhere out there, the next life-changing performance is waiting to happen. And you won't want to miss it.